The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. It is our second hour of the show. It is the Mighty Drive. We be here every day, Monday to Friday. But there are those days that you are not going to see us. But you will see us in other platforms. That doesn't mean that I'll come here and apologize for not, coming up here, because we are in a season of politics. That means other shows are not going to be, coming up. But you will see other events taking place on our platforms. We ask you that if you don't see the Mighty Drive, just, keep your eyes on our page. That means something bigger is coming up. In studios today, I have Mr. Odong Arthur. We are talking economics. We are talking money. We are talking markets. And I want to just now look at how the youth can survive in a free market economy, because we have always talked about the minority groups. So under the minority, we have the youth, we have the women. It is even actually not a good thing to say we are the minority groups and then we are making the biggest percentage of the population as the youth. It kind of, it doesn't sound right. But as a woman now, I'll come up and say we are a minority group. We need affirmative seats in parliament, and a Libertarian here is saying, no, we are removing all those. You need to compete favorably with everyone, which I think as a woman, that isn't for us. We need something to push us as women, because we, according to the Bible and the science, we are not, born the same as men. So, Mr. Libertarian, using your economy, could you paint for us a picture how a youth can survive in such an economy? Someone who is just coming out of university and they want to, start a business, and there is a lot of competition. We have someone who is, because in such an economy, it creates the big people, the big heads, those that have money. And now someone just wants to enter such an economy. They want to enter business. How am I protected?
Okay, thanks very much. And yes, as I come to the answer, I want to, first of all, it's my humble appeal to my fellow youth and the likes. I find it an insult, personally, if I'm being told, minority and the likes, because I think those are kind of allegations to weaken us and condition us to start lobbying for, welfare and the likes. Yet one, the youth, let's get to the statistics. Youth, we are the heavily populated stuff.
Yes.
And then look at our charisma. We are the energetic, versatile, we have the room to adapt and stuff. Definitely. How then really should we settle for that kind of judgment? Oh, minority, Like, to some point it makes it look like, okay, we have to keep our hands up and stuff. Fine, it's a personal kind of adaptation that I really don't think I shoot that test of minority.
You are right, you have the charisma, you have everything, but are you using it?
Yeah, personally I am. I don't know, maybe for my colleagues, but I think it comes back to how then do I see? Maybe my colleagues out there have accepted their minorities and they're operating as minorities. Personally, I really think I'm not a minority. Like, definitely, I am the next stepping stone. I am the next big thing for the entire economy, the likes, stuff. But I am part of the greatest structure. That if I'm to grow, I have a market base of roughly over 78% of the people. Yes. How then should I really categorize myself as a minority? That's my own thinking and school of thought. Okay, now coming to this entire thing of, how can someone supersede and come into and play into the economy with the entire thinking. First and foremost is we have to understand that the market that really has to scale is a system, okay? And systems have, rules of the game and the stuff. Now, the first important thing is ignorance is not a place in that entire scope. Good enough, we have a lot of initiatives that we get to universities and campus to engage students and the likes. You'll come to understand that students in university have this promise of, oh, it's all green outside there. I'm only looking for this so-called paper so that I go trade the paper.
If I get my degree from here, things will be good.
Yes, and we focus largely on how do I prepare my paper and go and sell my time. The most important thing you sell in employment is your time.
And skills. Please.
Okay. The skills operate within the time. That's why they'll give you 9 to 5. And then they'll give you your authorized some leave. Yeah. So which means the most important thing is the time.
Yeah, true.
That you're only given some free leave, and if it was the skill, then you would even come for 1 hour, do it, and go. If it is all about the skill. So it's the time that, within the time, they want to exploit the skill. Okay, anyway, it's not trying to...
If you are watching us, please don't take the choice of Mr. Arthur's wording. It's very,
it's
murderous.
Not so much. It's personal. Now, here's the thing. First of all, is understanding. I am into interactions whereby largely of our youthful people are into informal trade and informal businesses. Now, here's the thing. Even in the informal business, it is hard to even be helped, either by any system of fair. Right? First of all, you have to understand, and no one will teach you how to formalize. That is the unfortunate part of the thing. At times, situation in school, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disband the education system. I did engineering. But then you'll find that the entire thing, they're teaching you how to design a building and that, but not teaching you how to get business.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that becomes another different thing, that when you come out, someone has the company that gets the business. And for you, you go implementing with it.
Yes.
Now, you have to understand now, to do the business, you have to have the company. That's the formal entity.
If you want to learn to do the business, now you will go into another course of maybe business administration, business, something related to business.
Okay, that's beautiful. But then again, here I'm talking about these systems that enable you to do business. That is formalization, let's say legalizing, let's say a business name, a company and the likes. Now, the first important thing is, of course, to come to a play that, ignorance is not a play system in the market.
Oh.
Yes, ignorance does not give you bonuses in the market. It's disastrous. It's actually a deficit in the market. That's one thing. And then two is after understanding that ignorance is not key, you have to understand the formality. You have to understand the bigger picture of how the market plays. If to trade, you have to be formal, then you have to know how do I formalize. And then now we have this bigger threat of people giving excuses of not formalizing just because of the taxes. Now, it's important that, yes, it's important. Of course, I know there are promises, okay, businesses have not made this revenue and the likes is not taxed and
yes.
the what. Okay, these are so good. But then it's also key that before fearing the taxes, have you tried to learn how to file the taxes themselves? I used to fear taxes, here and there, but then I realized, you can't file taxes. And if you've made the losses and the likes,
you file them off.
Don't I need another person to file for me the taxes and those stuff?
Now that's where the excuse of it's expensive to acquire an accountant to do that.
Exactly.
As an individual, you can learn this. That's why I said it earlier. That if the systems are expensive, then you have to be the incentive yourself to learn these things and start from. Because if we keep the perception of, okay, I need an accountant to file my taxes, I need so and so, it becomes a bigger system and we don't have the capital to start. Definitely, then that's where we shall start, that this market is for the big dogs. Yet, you can learn these things and start it small. That is one thing. And then again is, as I said, is in the free market, one's failure, you should not pray for one's failure for you to start.
Oh, yes.
That is one thing that other people think that, okay, you should not pray for one's failure to give you a rise or a leap.
If you are equity, don't pray for Stanbic to fail for you to thrive.
Definitely. Now, you have to come in with strategies. Now, in competition, when you're coming in with competition, you don't, like if I want to create a television station, Digitalk has its niche, has its strategy, has its selling model. If I come with the same selling model, Digitalk will beat me with the advantage of time. It already has a privilege and the likes. Maybe I come with another media avenue, but with a different talking line. Now, in competition, you either have to be different. Different in way, in either speed or cheaper or better. Now, if you encompass those things, you enter into a market. Now, the problem is people wanting to be Madivani and you want to come as Madivani. Oh, Madivani grew through processes. So we have to understand this entire thing. And then again also is one other beauty of this entire free market system, because I really think it's a misconception to a larger extent where people look at capitalists as, you're greedy and the likes. I saw a certain post on LinkedIn, someone saying, Elon Musk earns money that can feed the entire African budget and the likes, and people were blaming him for that. This was the question I asked. I was like, what does Elon Musk do to get this money? Elon Musk provides literally internet to all the African continents to get back that money. Definitely, he's helping over 1.4 billion people have access to internet. Now, people don't look at what the other one is providing. They look at what they are earning. Now, in the free market is you focus so much in the value. A musician comes to one show and offers value of happiness to over 1 million people one night.
Yes.
And you want to blame the musician and compare to the doctor who treats one patient for like literally a month. These are different value scopes. These are different aspects. And this is how the market appreciates. Now, this is how the free market works. Now, people have to get deeper.
I think now I am going to be on the side of those who do not support capitalists, because you have just elaborated it in a way that wouldn't make me want to support it.
Okay, let me give a local example here. A very simple example like in this country. Let me talk of maybe Madivani and the likes. Now, Madivani may make all the resources we think and we look at them as really bad people. But then, if you take sugar, definitely Madivani is helping.
You're benefiting from his existence.
Now, by you benefiting, you're giving an appreciation token by buying the sugar. Now, because let's say 30 million people in Uganda buy the sugar. Definitely, Madivani is receiving an appreciation of 30 million people.
But that the same person is closing out those people that would want to come into business, doing the same business with him, because now he has the advantage of the money.
Now, wait, and now this is where the beauty comes in. So, the allegation here is Madivani should fail for others to come in the market. This is why we ask hard questions.
No, we do not want him to fail.
Okay.
But we do not want him to use to leverage on the advantage of having a lot of money to close out.
Am I allowed to ask me that? How do you think Madivani leverages? Madivani does marketing, right? How Madivani leverages within his power or their power is they do marketing, right? They employ highly skilled labor, right? They buy machinery, right? That is how Madivani leverages. I would buy the idea if it was government coming in place and saying no other sugar production unit should be there except Madivani.
Yes.
But if Madivani is using their comparative advantage of marketing skills and the likes, and not stopping, but maybe if Madivani was going to, let's say, to Agago, I come from Agago, and says no one should produce sugar here, there I would have a problem, and I will be one of the campaign people to ensure Madivani is out of the country. But if Madivani concentrates on his marketing, concentrates on hiring highly skilled labor, concentrates on improving the quality of their product, and that is what they're using as an advantage to keep in the market, not this power of, oh, government go, if there is someone creating another sugar company, kick them out. Mm-hmm. As far as Madvan is using their advantage. The same comes here to Digitalk. As far as Digitalk is continuously giving credible news, giving stuff, then I have no problem with Digitalk. Unless Digitalk is saying no any other platform should come and is using government to stop any other young
close
person.
Out
yes,
people.
That becomes now a problem. But if Digitalk concentrates employing high labor, going to the field, going to the staff, and is giving credible news, that becomes a comparative advantage for Digitalk to remain and stand in the market. And that is the beauty of the free market. That people will keep to Digitalk, not because it's just a media house, but it's going to the field and getting raw data and content. And it's going out and doing something. That is what makes them stand. So should we say, okay, Digitalk should give way because other people need to come to the market, yet Digitalk is capitalizing on its marketing, credible, expensively sending its people to the field, doing all the things to keep in the market. Yeah. Should we say, leave the YouTubers, leave the TikTokers who are doing live and what to do business on Digitalk,
close them out.
Stuff?
Yeah.
This is how we should look at this market thing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let's go back to the youth and the free market economy. You said ignorance isn't it isn't allowed in the free market economy. But as a youth that is coming into business, that, yes, I want to do business. You are asking me to first do research before I do a business. Go into now researching, understanding how to file returns, understanding how to formalize and all that. Because if I start immediately with formalization, URI is going to come for me even before I make a profit. Okay,
first, this gets us now to another cycle where we talk of the cycles of wealth. That one, where does wealth harbor, okay? Mm-hmm. Because one of our good definition of entrepreneurship is someone who sees value in problems. That is an entrepreneur. So even in your head, I think an entrepreneur is someone who sees value in problems, that you make value out of problems. Okay. That is an entrepreneur. But then again, you have to understand that now the cycle of wealth starts with one, first of all, wealth harbors in people, right? The relationships you build and the likes. I don't want us to first look at it like, okay, start registering, and how do you reach the point of, do I register, do I start a product in the market? Of course, definitely wealth harbors in people. You need to have people around you and stuff. So relationship building is key. That even when I start my informal product, the first consumers are the people who are next to me, right? And then again, of course, wealth harbors in skills and talents. These are some of the cheapest things you can start with. That if I'm a communicator, if I'm a speaker, I use that comparative advantage to really communicate. And then before I really, scale it off to the market, already some people know it. And then another thing where wealth harbors in knowledge. Yeah, true. In knowledge. Now that now comes to what I'm trying to say, that when you know something, wealth really harbors there. There are people who are paid for what they know, right? Or there are people who do what they know. There are two things. Doing what you know and you're paid for what you know. Being paid for what you know. Yeah. Those are Which one is the best? No, all are good. All work in the market. There are people who are consultants, experts, and the likes. Though the only difference is that it comes to now the dominant things in the market. The market is largely dominant by two things: either trade in goods or trade in services. So now those who are largely who use their expertise and knowledge and stuff are in the service sector. Yeah. Okay, they know something, they are paid as experts, and then those who can really manufacture and create something are in the goods sector. Okay, all are good for the economy. Though now the issue is about which one is scalable and which one is non-scalable as an individual. Of course, goods are scalable as compared to services, but well, you go for what works for you. Okay, it's not a campaign now for which one is better, but it would also come that services are easier to start than goods. Yeah, true. Because goods are intensive, are capital intensive, it will start. And then some point services are also scalable. Like, though within a service, like let's say Digitalk offers a service of media and stuff, though they created a good, that's the entire avenue like this to really disseminate that. So attaching a good to the service to scale them, but what scales is the service. Yeah. So anyway, that's the goods and services. So after understanding those entire envelopes of where wealth really harbors, you have to understand that relationship building is key. This I'm not trying to now get into this entire talk of motivational speakers and the likes, but you don't sell to animals. The most important thing we have as people, I think,
nature gives us is people. And why we are different from monkeys is because we trade. You know, monkeys eat, a monkey can eat a banana and it's okay.
Yeah.
But as an individual, if I don't put on a watch, if I don't put on a cloth, but do I make all? That's what we have to ask yourself. I don't make all of them. Okay? But there's something I may make and trade to others. So now that alone makes us be an absolute market. So the most important thing I think is relationship building. You know, you can't come into this thing as a masterpiece of... that's my only advice to our youth. You know, I have a problem. I've tried to deal so much with our fellow youth, but I think building trust, and the first incentive in the market as a young person, if you don't have capital, you don't have stuff, is trust building, and trust emanates from relationships.
Yes.
It's true. I do understand it's true. I also didn't start it off from a scale of capital and the likes. No, my background isn't that one that is so much harmonizing. But it's this relationship that some of us are surviving on the trust we establish, that you have access to capital, not because you created it or you own it,
that people
but
trust
because,
you.
yes, you build trust. I think that's the first important thing, that even before going into any other scale of stuff, you could be the highly skilled person. You could be the highly, technical person. But the trust element is so key, and trust germinates from relationships. So if it means to first build relationships, then nurture trust, then it's key. Then build the relationships as a youth. Build a relationship as, we have youth who think you can get a handout and you just make it. No, it's relationship. By the way, even if I am an individualist, I am a libertarian, but we are so much sensitive that an individual excels in a society. Yeah. Even if an individual builds a society, but they excel, an individual can never excel in a vacuum. So the most important market we have are the relationships we build. I think the first thing to start is build a relationship, because anyone complaining about capital and the likes and the likes and the likes to start, or maybe the knowledge to start and the likes, try to first investigate on the relationship environment that they have. It's so much key. I think that's the most paramount, because learning how to file taxes is key.
Now that is even a bigger challenge in a situation that we are living in currently, because people are more onto themselves than them going out. Because of the social media issue, the digital era, it has made people come to themselves alone than going out to make connections.
Yeah, and I think that is what media has done. Media has not created relationships, in my thinking. It has created what they call networks. You have a pot of people. You have... I had a friend, I'm sorry to say, I'm not the company TikTok. I'm so poor at TikTok. So...
Are you there?
You
have an account?
I don't put anything. I did...
but it is there?
Yes, it is there. So I did see a friend of mine. He had, I think, 1,000 something. I was like, okay, can these 1,000 people reflect to maybe the business you do? He's like, he just laughed at me. Then I'm like, are those relationships, those are just keeping you to this vacuum, this entire washing of people? So he goes to see how have they liked the stuff, how many videos have they liked and the likes. So I'm not the campaign in social media. It's a vehicle. Yeah. But true relationships are not hybrid.
They are physical.
They are physical. Relationships are created on bond. Actually, it's a big issue you've raised here, that actually we're into an era whereby our privacies are being invaded, but not invaded because we are open to it. Yeah. They're being invaded by what? And the real us, because the real you is who you are when there's nobody watching, right?
True, yes.
So, and the real us is getting lost in social media. That every time, every step, people are not using it for business. But I think I get back to this and I say, relationships are key. I have started businesses and I do business. I'm in the market space. But I see 94% is the relationships I build. Wow. Then the knowledge, of course, the knowledge to utilize the relationship is key. I could not file the taxes. I could know how to register the businesses. I could know. But what is the primary? What is the primary stuff that leads me to there? I remember the first ever initiative we did started to our friends that actually were coming together. And they became the first ever clients. Of course, I've started those that have failed and those that are...
So as a student that is finishing university, can you just, mention for me steps into relationship building? Are there platforms? I have always advocated for people to socialize, go out there, have a belonging. Okay, go to church. Have a group you belong to. But now I want you to kind of draw for us steps of how someone can, try to kind of build the relationships, important relationships.
Okay, yeah, that's key. You have made some good example of church. You know, we have a lot of initiatives. I have reserved thoughts about church and religion, but it
is bringing people together.
Yes,
so
okay.
If
looking
at
it
for
as social stuff, I'm okay. Though there are tribal gatherings and the likes.
Yes.
My only problem with those is you're gathering because you think you have something in common.
True.
Now there are these open-minded gatherings. We have the Rotaries. We have, like, let's say, these Libertarian networks. And this is where people are not gathering because we speak the same language or because we believe in a certain God together.
Because we believe in Jesus or Muhammad.
Yes, here people are all like open-mindedness, right? People are coming together like, oh, we are different. I know we are different. But when I'm in church, we think we are equal. We think we are stuff. Eh?
But even if I am a libertarian, we are coming together because we believe in a certain economy that we all think is the right one. So
Okay.
there is something bringing us together.
The beauty scope, yeah, though it is open-mind in a way that
it isn't forced on
to provoke you. You know, any environment that can provoke you. The problem with religion and tribe will not provoke you. Tribe will try to sell to you how good is your tribe and stuff. So you come out really a little bit contented. Eh? If the same is with the religion. It may either excite you or enlighten you and the likes. So I think these environments that come, and trust me, they are open. They are open. There are business conferences that do happen, and they're open. There are girl initiatives that do come in here, and they're open. I think that actually you have really made it. You have said you actually agitate for these people to get. It's very key. It's not. Some of us, that's where we have gained most of our gatherings. That even while still at campus, I'd get time. Conferences go to universities free.
True.
To your surprise,
people don't attend.
Still not attend, and they want to get out of the economy with a transcript that cannot relate with someone. Now, actually, it's a very pertinent issue that those who are listening to this event, it's key to build site. They are open, they are free. Now, there comes a time, like a level you reach, like where we are, like you now pay to go into some. But in the such scales, the organizations are coming to campuses, you're going to campus debates and the likes. They are free. And these are things that will open up your mind. We just yesterday, but on Tuesday, we were at Chambogo University. We took a lawyer, teach these students contracts, what are memorandum of understanding, what are sales agreements, what are all these, how do you register, how do you allocate shares, voting rights, teaching these things. But definitely we had around 60 students in a university that has over 30,000.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is so much important because that is where now students who are in such a session now know that a company is not, do not have to first be a schedule to start a company. Definitely, these are the first baby steps that are key, and that's why I said ignorance is not an incentive in the market. You know, in the market has two people, has a victim and a victor, and there are two moralities of those people: a slave morality and a master morality. All are moralities, but one is a slave morality.
Yes,
and
one
is
a
a master
morality. Yeah.
Yes. All are moral, they are justifiable. You'll say, I can't do it. You know, the economy is bad. It's moral, it's good, it's justifiable, but it's a slave morality. It's a slave morality. And then there's a master morality who say, oh, how can I do it? How can I make it? How can I do it? You know I may not be a Madivani and stuff, but I'll be like, oh, how can I? You know, like most of my times I'm taking to watch documentaries of failed businesses that might have failed, or maybe how this entire started, or how all this thing is done. Like,
can you just look at our education system and analyze it in the lens of a libertarian economy? Like, how should it be? Paint for us a picture, because the education system of Uganda, creates more of job seekers, people who don't want to start their own businesses, but they are very willing to be employed and given some money, like you have said. I do not, because that sounds harsh, you got ready your time, they give you money, and now I am trading my time here, so it sounded really harsh. So, can you just, analyze for us the education system in the lens of a libertarian economy? How would that be?
Okay, thanks. I don't want us to be disastrous. You could, where I can say you could not be trading your time so badly is, you can't be here. This is what they call scaling time. You can't be here, and there's maybe another business running outside there. It's yours. Within the same time, you're actually doing 10 things. Yet there is one person whom within in the 24 hours is doing one thing, but is doing it for one person who is doing other things. So, okay, that's the entire psychology of time as a resource in the market. It's key, of course, with time. Okay, yes, you talked about the education system. About raising job seekers, is it and the likes. First and foremost, I, for one, think school or education should be a product in the market. It should be a product in the market. Though with a system like this, now I didn't want to go so much into politics, but now we have to.
Yeah.
Because
politics runs everything.
Yes, it either associates or it runs. Now you'll have to understand that the motive of education, we have to get back to the roots of how the schools were built. You'll have to understand they were built in the Industrial Revolution. That is when the J.D. Rockefellers were trying to thrive through this. They were trying to thrive through their oil industry and the
So what was the whole motive of starting schools?
Yeah, it was to train people to work in those factories. That's why English was key for communication, and then mathematics, because it
was all about business.
Yeah, that is, it was created. Though with time, of course, systems had to come and say, oh, this could be an environment to build society. Okay, that is key. Now, with Uganda's system, I want to a little bit be, I did engineering, right?
Yes.
And at some point, you know, when you're trying to do designs and stuff, you say, according to BS. What does BS mean? It's according to British standards. I am in Uganda. I'm studying in Uganda. Now, this is a humble appeal now. I am in Uganda. We have an opportunity for research. Can't we research and make Ugandan standards? Up to today, a British standard that was developed way back, years back, channeled through our curriculum, and we are being raised through it. Now, up to today, we design a building, and I confidently sit and say, according to British standards. If their soils were a little bit, let's say, if their soils were weak, that they have to dig their foundation to 8 feet down, and our soils are strong, we are digging 8 feet down just because they were stuck. We build expensively, we build stuff. So
yet you could do it cheaply if you analyze and did research.
Yeah, and this comes to when I was joining university.
Yes.
You know, I thought I was going to create knowledge. You know, that is my thinking, because I was like, oh, I've been really doing more of testing my memory in high school. So I thought, oh, now in university, that's why I started now nurturing ideas. Like, oh, I'll go there, and now I'll try to see how to make this out of this and this. So that's what I thought. I reached university, and it was literally the same thing. Like, they would teach me engineering, must test me whether I mastered that. I was like,
yes.
So I realized that now the education system, largely, more especially the tertiary, because these young ones, it's okay. The high school is being changed in a way. But then I think the tertiary institution should be more of like, can the education system help build people who create knowledge? You know, there is a research that was done by a gentleman who tested, back then they were doing 25 points and like. He tested a number of students who got 4 in primary 7. He followed them up to senior 4. Some got 8, some dropped off a bit. He followed those very people.
Senior 6.
Senior 6, some got 25, some dropped off. He followed them to university. Some got first class. Now his entire thing was like, if school is saying these people are really special, because if school is a standard of society, then these people should really be unique in society.
Exactly.
To his disappointment, these very people went into the same environment with other people who might have not made it in that way. Now, what are we saying? That school should be an environment to let people discover and excel themselves off much. Not to be an environment of knowledge consumption. You only consume and only go to reproduce what you consumed, but rather should be an environment to also trigger and also let the light within individuals or students. It's very few people, the case in point like I did. I took school as an environment.
For you to learn and identify your capacities.
Yes, and definitely I think by the time I was graduating, I'd already registered a company because of the enlightenment, like going to sessions and stuff. But 80% of my colleagues couldn't. I became a consultant to some of them. So
that's why someone is asking me, where did you learn all of this?
By the way, I didn't study economics. That's the surprising thing. That's why I'm saying.
So how did you learn economics?
When you understand that we are all slaves in the economy, we are all victims or vulnerable to the market. You have to understand that besides politics, each of us have to interest themselves in the market and economics. That is a bold truth. People are interesting themselves largely on religion and stuff, and you're living, you say, I'm not politics, and so definitely politics will come and hit you. And then you're saying, I'm not an economist, I don't really want to, but the economy will come and hit you. So when I understood those two things.
But you also realize that there are aspects where people just feel like, I cannot understand those things even if I want to try, even if I try. Like, there are people who will say, I don't understand that kind of, you know, the theme of NEDPs, how they work and everything. And because it is in your mind, you just don't understand it. Even if you want to understand the economics of Uganda, even if you paid attention to it, you just find yourself not understanding the thing.
I think then people should, I think it's then to get to understand the basic economics. And then again also, I want to now get this to a little bit be of a motivation.
And somehow, economics and everything, I think it is a mindset that they create from high school. They kind of make commerce feel like it's really hard. And then when we go to high school, to HSC, they make economics really hard. And then when you come into the real world, you do not want to associate with anything economics. Because they have created the fear in you that you cannot understand it. It is really hard. It is for a few people that can understand the maths and the subtractions.
I'll come into with two sentences. There's one sentence most times when you're talking to people and people are like, government help us, government help us. Then I'd be like, if you think you can live at the expense of the government, are you aware that the government lives at the expense of everybody?
That is true.
So, meaning you're crying to the person who lives at your expense. Now the same comes to the economy. You know, when you're saying, you know, the economy is for the other and the likes, definitely economy is not for anybody, it's for us. We are all victims of the market.
It's for
you're either supporting it, or you're either participating in it, producing in it, or you're consuming in it. Now the issue is, are you an informed consumer? Or are you an informed producer in that market? Now, the issue, that's why I told you, ignorance is not an incentive in the market. Because if you are an uninformed consumer, you're a weak consumer. Okay, these are some things that I don't think we should sugarcoat and really babysit here. Yeah. Because if we definitely want to grow the economy, we need to take radical steps. I'm sorry to say that there's a time I'm one of the person who, I'm sorry to say for those who benefited from it, I'm one of the person who is like, no, PDM is something that shouldn't have really come out of a sensible economic mind. You can't raise people from poverty by giving them handouts. You build their capacity and create an enabling environment. Building capacity does not mean giving them
money.
Building capacity is create these initiatives where they can go get skilled. Oh, I gave an example.
Initiatives are there. Skilling Uganda.
Then drive people to go to the initiatives. Then based on those skills, that's when you create an enabling environment for them. As I said, if you really wanted to give money, this is my own analysis. If you go to the village and get someone who has a chapati stall, give that person 2 million, task them to create 2 more chapati stores and employ the unemployed. That person has the capacity, not so, because they have mastered the art, they have tried, they have failed. Yes. But now come to someone who has never created anything.
Give them money.
Give them the money.
Tell them to start something.
They are at the verge of consumption. Yes. What will they do? They will consume.
They'll consume.
Now, that's the entire logic and stuff, and that works, and I'm like, okay, this is it. But I want to encourage people. This is not something of saying it's for these people or for the other people. Economics is not for anyone. It's for all of us. We are all victims or slaves in the market, unless someone wants to be average. If you want to be average, then play that card. If you're employed, okay you are in the economy. Are you understanding that employment contract you have? Are you understanding? These are the things we are trying to task
Some people just sign contracts. They don't even
that is the thing. You're signing a contract, the mandatory leaves are not even quoted, the staff are not quoted, then you're submitted to Yambe. You didn't read the contract, you didn't staff. We really have to understand these things. Like, I'm one of the person who tries to say the excuse box is enough. Africa has thrived so much on the excuse box.
Excuses.
Yes, we operate below the line. You know, below the line, you're always defensive, you always, you know, stuff. And then above the line, of course, you assume responsibility. You say, yes, enough has been enough. If I've not been really following anything of politics and economics, actually, I've really been messing up. But from now, I can act on it and take
I think we are comfortable making lamentations than taking action.
And that is operating below the line. And trust me, it creates two societies. above the line society and below the line society. That as we are crying for the ancestors, is it compensate our fathers you took as slaves and stuff, we are forgetting that we can really actually build and start over. So definitely, I really think it's an excuse. Two things I think actually, if it was actually put in the curriculum, other than maybe English of course is because language is key.
It is a medium of communication, yes.
Yes, language is key. Then, the problem is economics was made to things that people really live on in the market, people consume, people trade.
I think they should make it compulsory for people to understand.
But also simplify it to average economics.
Yeah, true.
It's like if you bring chemistry and someone is sleeping on a mattress, which is a chemist, and then you're continuously teaching it as benzene. I did chemistry. You're complicating it as...
You did chemistry? Did you find it simpler as compared to other subjects? Because... now if you did a chemistry, now you understand how I'm saying, where I'm coming from when I say that I
did physics, chemistry and math, and they looked simpler for me than even history and stuff. But then actually, my interest in economics came while I was leaving university. Oh. When I realized, wait a minute, where am I going? I found a certain colleague who told me, Arthur, oh, you're getting ready to get out of the market. I'm like, yeah. Then he told me, Arthur, come I show you the newspapers. I used not to read newspapers. I would open from, I would see call for bids, call for tenders. He told me, are you seeing that they're advertising more business than more jobs here? Oh, then he's like, how understand how to play in this than just trying to look for what is not really being advertised here. There is more business being advertised outside than more jobs.
More jobs, yes, true.
So after that, that's when I had to understand. Now, I started reading the budget. I was one person who used not to read the budget. But I read the budget. Now, this is what I'm interesting citizens. You're crying, oh, give us the stuff and stuff. But the government allocates, gives a budget. There is development. Of course, there is a payment of wages. Government is always in two ways. Yes. Budget is in two ways. Then you don't even understand what allocation has been put into the development fund of your district, in your area, of your parish. You know, after I realized I had to interest myself in such things to know, oh, if Terego has gotten this much in development funds, meaning much of the resources and attention is going to develop infrastructure and what in Terego, or supplies in this and this and this in Terego. So definitely I now have to start building relationships in Terego or seeing how to get to Terego.
Yes, to be able to do business in
like
such
you
a
know
sector.
where the money is going. When these campaigns are coming, climate campaigns are coming into the country, you have to understand when the budget has come and much of this money has gone here, this is where the path is going. Definitely, if you really want to be a participant in the market, it's key. Okay, it may not be for everybody. As I said, we are unequal. Someone may not give in the effort to read. Someone may not give in. And do you think results will be the same? That's why I'm not a proponent of equality. I'm a proponent of equity, equal space, equal opportunity. Let the bids keep coming in the newspapers. Those who can read should read.
Let the ground be leveled. Let us all compete.
Let it be open. Like bids stuff and do workout. The first ever time I participated into bidding and stuff, I realized, oh, I thought this is for only.
But they also say in such sectors where we are doing bidding, it is also some kind of, you know, there is a lot of gatekeeping, there is a lot of handpicking, even if you put in your bid, they already have someone that they would wish to do the services for them. It's
important. I had the news here and some talk on corruption and the likes and stuff. I think, of course, there are always weaknesses in the entire thing, but then the weaknesses do exist. Yes, I do know. Of course, I participate. I know a lot of those things that do happen. But then again, most times there are criteria that they base on to tick who gets the tender. Oh. So winning it is another thing, but also participating in it and learning and knowing, oh, this is what happens here.
Knowing how it works.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean that the first ever participation we won, no. But, okay, this is what works. It's just like the politics and the economy. You have to understand it's not a gateway. It's not an easy runoff. Yeah.
You talk about corruption. It has always been a major barrier, okay, in our mixed economy. It is a major barrier. Don't we see privatization worsening it now that it will have the elites having more power over the other and we're seeing corruption going up?
I will start with the quote which says that if government decides whom to buy and whom to sell from, then the first person to buy and sell is what? Isn't it the government? Now that comes down to what I was talking about, the limited government. If the government limits its roles to only ensuring the fair play, the contracts are being obeyed as they are, and leaves the private individuals playing, there will be lesser reasons to buy the government to coerce the market. That's one thing. Then my other say about corruption, my only say, in case the state takes it on, is, why corruption is everywhere, of course I know, but why it is so rampant in some economies, let's say like ours, is I think because of the analog kind of money transaction. Do you know if money was digitalized, it would be hard for people to carry money in sacks?
There are a lot of scams in digital money.
No, I mean mobile money, banking and stuff. I am not talking about
the digital
forex
coins
stuff.
and
Yes.
forex
I'm talking about
trading.
If Bank of Uganda,
Forex
instead of printing hard cash, issues out digits to the bank system, to the bank, to the parliament, to the state house, to the stuff. Now, any money that gets out, of course, is digitally tracked.
Yeah, you can know.
But people carry money in sacks. Do you track it? So
but do you know we lost money digitally? Just of recent. Do you remember?
And the issue's in court. And anyways, corruption is a big vice, and it's a political question. You see, that's why I say excuses of saying stuff, and corruption is a political question. That it's a political will to curb corruption. Like, I don't really think. Because, okay, there's corruption and embezzlement. Now, there's people in church who start saying, oh, everyone is corrupt, even you're corrupt. Trying to make corruption look like it's part of everybody is the problem of it. Let's first handle corruption as a political issue. That corruption, because if someone is consuming funds that had to construct a road, how then do you tell me, who may just through my covetousness has done a small scale, and then you say, oh, you're corrupt, don't blame anyone for corruption. Let's handle it first as a political issue. Okay. Then it gets to becoming a moral issue.
We have talked about the people, the money, and the markets. Now we want to know how citizens can come in to kind of reduce over-dependence on the government. What role do they have to play?
Okay, that's key. And that comes back to, about the other entire session of the wealth and stuff. Wealth is owned, and value is created out of it, then it is traded and exchanged. Now, owning wealth comes back to understanding what is wealth. Wealth is in people, is in your skills and talents and the like. Now, I think people should look at themselves larger. That's why the individualism is key. Knowing yourself. We're in a society whereby people are living a version of what they have been raised to believe they are. But then, yet you understand that you hardly trade what you believe, you trade what you are. So if you're living a version that you already precipitated by
someone just created, that
isn't you, then it makes you a little bit to be rigid in the way you operate. That's why you find it hard. Now the only issue is you always demand and be dependent on the stuff. But then, of course, for those who have already gone through that sequence and equation, we have to understand that as citizens, I think instead of lobbying for handouts and incentives, let's lobby for a free space to trade. Okay. Let's lobby for a free space to trade. Let's lobby that to get so easy. Let this entire knowledge formalization of stuff be broken down to the simplest way that even you, I would wish actually citizens would advocate that the entire system of URS maybe be decentralized to even local languages. Because if you only keep it share value, voting rights, all those things,
people
it may,
understand.
and then maybe partnerships, and people don't understand what a partnership is because if you're registering just a small business, you need other partners. I think that's what people should interest themselves in, ensuring that, okay, if this is a thing, let's really break it down. And then again, as citizens should also, I interest citizens in politics. Not to run and participate, but rather to also
follow what is happening.
To follow what's happening.
Pay attention to
there are pledges being made through manifestos. I was on a certain talk show and they were telling me they are protecting gains, and I'm like, okay, the issue is let's now start questioning, are there gains? That's where, we have to really start.
Of course, you cannot protect what isn't there. Then there must be gains.
Now to who, and then start. Now that's where now the questions have to come in.
Now those are the necessary questions I'm asking people to ask.
Yes, people have to ask, and people have to interest themselves in politics. Not to go into these rallies just because is it a galley, is it what? People have to a little bit to be objective, because at the end of it all, it backfires too. You're the individual. You're the individual. Okay. The power of the crowd is there to let you think, oh, Tulimuchino, all of us. But the real use who you are when there's nobody watching, like the power of the crowd has this entire thing of putting that excitement, you know, that entire thing when you're running on a rally and it ends there. What are you picking in as you? You know, some people, if you ask people, that's one thing I want to do, a research we want to do after is to ask people of the manifestos. Ask citizens, not the politicians.
Yes.
You're going to say, oh, are you voting based on manifesto or you're just saying this is my party? Because most times when you're voting, you should say, I'm voting a government that is going to make it this based on the manifestos. That at some point makes sense. Though, and that's my problem with democracy, that 100 idiots will tell, I'm sorry to say it is hard, 100
You have always
fools,
been hard since you started this show.
100 fools will have the power to tell who leads the 10 so-called wise or stuff. That's the only weakness in democracy that is unchecked. But we only lure people to really know that, okay, even if the other one, that also not only should you know the manifesto of the party you think you're supporting, but also the other party. Because any can win. That's the issue with the democracy. But if it has won, do you know the manifesto that you should hold them accountable on? You know, that is so key. That our interest is to really...
Well, as we come to the end of the show, as a libertarian, what is that one tax that if given chance you would abolish immediately and why?
The one tax is, there is the corporate tax.
What's
Now,
that?
that
Explain that to the people.
Now, that is so much good. Corporate tax is tax that is, okay, for people who are formal. After doing business, at the end of the year, you know, at the end of everything, you file and you report that, okay, these are the profits I've made, and you pay 30% of those profits after reducing the expenses and the likes. Now, why am I saying it's bad is, you know, the moment you really show someone that I'll penalize you for progressing, someone will always want to prove
They
I'm
are
not
not
progressing.
progressing.
Now, somehow, you're going to get data that is not aligned. We should be in a society whereby you're rewarding progress, not punishing progress. That's whereby many will participate. In a situation whereby you say, oh, after today you've made, in profit, I've made 100 million. So, because after reducing expenses and the like, so you have to pay 30%. Now, this is logical asking. I'm paying 30% of 100 million.
Yes.
That is 30 million as taxes.
Mm.
Now, the only reason here is I have to create a lot of expenses as possible so that I tell you I've only made 10 million, so that I pay 3 million. Now, what does that one bring in a way that it first of all even brings the miscalculations into counting of development? Yeah. Those that you think, oh, our companies are not doing well, you know, startups are failing in 1 year because they are reporting to you that they are not making any profit, so that
you should not
tax them.
Yes.
Then another tax also that is some point I have a problem with is there's what they call a provisional returns. You know, the provisional returns is more of like expecting to make. But on what you're expecting to make, you have to pay.
They are taxing you for that?
Yes.
It's like, it's something I have not made, but I am expecting. Why are you taxing me?
Like you say, this year, and of course most times, that's why I think businesses hardly report progress. Like this year I may report, oh, I'm expecting to make 2 million. Do you know that an invoice, a PRN, will be generated 30% of 2 million? And you have to pay. I haven't made it. I haven't started, but it's money that I'm now going to be demanding. I may not pay it then, but they give me a duration up to start. Then I'd be like, so which means I have to report.
Yeah, I am expecting to make a 300,000.
300,000.
Such that you pay the 30% of the 300.
And now the problem comes if, then which means in the file, I will also now report, oh, I reported I was going to expect it to make, then I'll let me report this. Now, somehow it keeps me into the shamble of, you know,
it stifles progress.
Communicate being small, yet the economy has to grow with transparency. I think those two are taxes. And that's why our young people don't want to, because at the time you tell, oh, make a tin number, oh, then by the time they do provision, hey, I have to pay. So those two taxes, I think, have to be rethought.
I remember one time walking to you and asking them why are they taxing me over stuff I don't even understand. There were a lot of money being charged and over stuff I don't even.
And they start asking, how do you eat? How do you?
Yes, how do you survive if you're not making money? how are you making this one survive? Why is your stuff there? And all those questions. But
anyway,
so it is a lot that we have planned in regards to taxes, in regards to your economy. If you are going into business, you need to do a lot of information searching. Last time, I think on Tuesday, the executive director of NPA, National Planning Authority, was telling us if someone has information, they are richer than you.
Yeah.
They are richer than you. So let us go do information finding. Don't just read, you know, be intentional. What exactly are you reading and where are you reading? So I would want to ask Mr. Arthur to give us his parting shots and we close this show.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much for hosting me once again, and thanks very much. I think my only parting shot is largely gets to the individual. You know, I'm so much passionate about the individual because I think if the individual understand themselves as an individual, yes, you have greater power to exercise in society. So I for one, I do encourage the individual that the power of the crowd should only be an enabler to your thriving, not a distraction. Okay. Because sometimes power of the crowd makes you, oh, we are many in this. You know, we are many suffering. We are many who don't know economics. We are many who don't do this.
Yes.
And that power of the crowd is...
Oh, this thing of I am not the only one that
yeah, and
that.
You find it okay.
Yes.
I think take it on an individual helm and, you know, disassociate yourself from the power of the crowd, but rather utilize it as an enabling force. I think that's my only encouragement, the individual. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Arthur, for coming in here. You were just doing, you know, people were in class learning. And it is great that I am seeing people, you know, bringing in comments like, he should come back, he should come back. I think you should start paying him because now this is a lesson. Is being paid. He said, you are either being paid for something or you are using what you know to do something. So if he has something that he knows, I think you guys should start paying him to give you these kind of lessons. It has been a very, very informative show. I hope you have learned one or two things. Even if you are not in business, you should learn one or two things from this show. He said, if the resources are not there, depend on your resourcefulness. Depend on your resourcefulness. What do you know? Depend on that. Go out there, you know, create connections. It will help you. I want to thank you who have followed us from 8 a.m. up to here where we are closing our show. You did a great job. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. we'll be here in Obuwangwa Nenono with Mr. Mokose Arnold Anthony. I want to wish you a good day. Enjoy.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.